Look, Microsoft just killed Windows 10, and now they expect you to either upgrade your perfectly good machine or throw it in the trash and buy new hardware. That's insane, right? Well, I've got news for you. There's a way to keep your old PC running smoother than ever. Use all your Windows software and tell Microsoft exactly where they can shove their upgrade requirements. What's up, everyone? So here's the situation. Windows 10 support is end soon, and suddenly, everyone's being told their 5-year-old laptops are too old for Windows 11. But here's what nobody's talking about. You can switch to Linux, keep using Photoshop, Microsoft Office, Premiere Pro, and literally any Windows app you want. No dual boot headaches, no buying new hardware. And honestly, your machine will run faster than it ever did on Windows. I know what you're thinking. Linux can't run Windows apps. Well, technically you're right, but practically, I'm about to blow your mind. Let me be real with you for a second. The whole Windows 11 upgrade situation is a mess. Your PC works fine. It's fast enough. It does everything you need. But because it doesn't have some TPM chip that nobody actually needs, Microsoft says it's obsolete. And what are your options? Spend $800 on a new laptop or pay $30 a month for extended Windows 10 updates. That's not a solution. That's a shakedown. Now, plenty of people have tried switching to Linux, and I get why most of them come running back. 'Tis not because Linux is bad. It's because you open up GIMP expecting Photoshop, or you try LibreOffice and realize your Excel macros don't work. The learning curve is brutal when you're trying to relearn every tool you've used for years. But what if you didn't have to? Enter WinApps. And no, this isn't some wine wrapper that barely works half the time. Here's the genius of it. WinApps runs a lightweight Windows virtual machine in the background, but makes your Windows apps appear like they're native Linux applications. You're not constantly switching between operating systems. You're not dealing with compatibility layers that break every update. You click Excel from your Linux menu, and Excel just opens, like magic. The best part? It's completely free, open source, and you can set this up in under an hour, even if you've never touched Linux before. So what do you actually need to make this work? Hardware-wise, if your PC is from the last 10 years, you're good. We're talking any modern processor with virtualization support, and trust me, yours has it. 8 GB of RAM minimum, 16 GB is better, about 50 GB of free disk space. That's it. Your outdated Windows 10 machine? Yeah, it'll handle this just fine. The only thing you need to do is enable virtualization in your BIOS. It's usually just one setting called Intel VT-X or AMD-V, depending on your processor. Most systems have it turned off by default, but flipping it on takes like 30 seconds. All right, let's get into the setup. I'll keep this straightforward. All right, let's talk setup. I'm going to keep this simple. Step 1, pick your Linux. First, you need Linux installed. I recommend Ubuntu or Linux Mint for beginners. They're stupid easy to set up and everything just works. Pop it on a USB drive, boot from it, and the installer walks you through everything. Step 2, install Docker. Once you're in Linux, you need Docker. This is what runs your Windows VM in the background. One command in the terminal installs it. Literally, copy, paste, enter. Done. Step 3, download WinApps. The WinApps project is on GitHub. You download it, and inside there's a compose file that does all the heavy lifting for you. You just edit a few lines, your Windows username, password, how much RAM you want to allocate. Here's my recommendation. Give the Windows VM about 4 to 6 GB of RAM if you've got 16 GB total. That leaves plenty for Linux while keeping Windows happy. Step 4. Choose your Windows version. Yeah, you can pick which Windows you want to run in the VM. Windows 10 works great. Or if you want to be ironic, you can even run Windows 11 inside the VM while your incompatible hardware runs Linux. Step 5. Start it up. Run one command. Docker downloads and sets everything up automatically. First time takes a few minutes, but after that, your Windows VM starts up in the background every time you boot your PC. Okay, so now you've got this Windows VM running. How do you actually use it? You can access it through your web browser at localhost 8006. It's literally just Windows in a browser tab. You log in with your Microsoft account, install Office, Adobe Creative Cloud, whatever you need. It works exactly like a normal Windows PC. But here's where it gets cool. Install xFreeRDP. It's one command, and suddenly your Windows apps show up in your Linux application menu. Not shortcuts to a VM, not some janky remote desktop. The apps just appear. Want to open Word? Click it from your menu. It opens in a window on Linux, but it's actually the real Windows version of Word running in the VM. You can drag files from your Linux desktop into it. You can copy and paste between Windows and Linux apps. Your Linux home folder is automatically shared with Windows, so all your files are accessible from both sides. Save something in Photoshop. It's right there in your Linux file manager. It feels native. That's the magic of it. Now let me be straight with you about performance, because it's not all perfect. The first time you open an app after booting up, it might take 15-20 seconds. After that, it's pretty quick. There's a tiny bit of lag, nothing terrible, but you'll notice it if you're doing precision work in Photoshop or scrubbing through timelines in Premiere. Gaming? Forget it. The input lag makes it unplayable. But for productivity software, creative apps, office work, totally usable. If you really need better performance, you can set up GPU pass-through, which gives the VM direct access to your graphics card. That's more advanced, but it eliminates most of the lag. For 90% of use cases, though, the basic setup works great. Here's why this is actually a big deal. We're creating mountains of e-waste because companies convince us our stuff is obsolete when it's not. Your PC isn't too old. It's being artificially limited by software requirements that exist to sell new hardware. Linux gives you an escape hatch. You keep your machine, you keep your software, you just cut out the middleman that's trying to squeeze money out of you every year. Plus, Linux is genuinely better for a lot of things. It's faster, more stable, more private, and you're not constantly fighting with forced updates and bloatware. The only thing holding people back was software compatibility. WinApps solves that. So look, if you're sitting on a Windows 10 machine wondering what to do, you've got options. You don't have to buy new hardware. You don't have to pay for extended support. Try Linux. Set up WinApps. Keep using the software you know and see if it works for you. Worst case? You learned something new. Best case? You just saved yourself hundreds of dollars and extended your PC's life by years. If you want a full tutorial on setting this up step by step, let me know in the comments and I'll make that happen. Hit like if this was helpful, subscribe for more tech freedom content, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay free, stay smart, and don't let corporations tell you what you can and can't do with your own hardware. Peace.